In our tackle turnover circuit, we're going to have 6 stations. And in those 6 stations, we're going to have resident experts at each spot. For example, I'm going to take the strip the passer and do some other drills here. We're going to rotate in a clockwise manner. Coach Wall here, our middle linebackers coach, is going to work on a drill he calls inside and in front. We're going to work on leveraging tackles. You know, it's a big special teams and open field tackle scenario. Here we're going to have a strip drill or a second man in partner strip drill. Here we're going to have an angle tackle drill. And sometimes we'll just do, you know, a simple form fit tackle drill there. We're going to have some type of open field tackling drill here, and then we're going to have a feet cut and tackle drill here. But each coach is assigned that part of tackling and turnovers. So I give them the freedom to do whatever drills they want, as long as it pertains to the feet cut and tackle right here for our tackle and noses coach. That's what we're going to do. You know, as long as it relates to open field tackling, that's what Coach Scott, our outside linebacker coach, is going to do. So we're going to work on those 6 areas. As far as proper tackling technique, got this straight from Coach Wall, our inside linebackers coach, who has a wealth of football knowledge and experience. But something that we came together as a staff and everybody presented on how we should teach a proper tackling technique. And this is what we really kind of settled on. But we want to settle into a bent knee position as the approach to the ball carrier is made. B, we want to take an extra step and get as close to the ball carrier as possible and try to step on his toes in a bent knee position. We don't want to raise or lower ourselves from that good hitting position. We want to keep our elbows close to the body, and we don't want to wind up. We never want to see the elbows, when we're going in to make a tackle, go back. When the elbows go back, the head goes down. A lot of times, especially with younger kids, you see the elbows go back, and that head will go down with it. We want to make chest-to-chest contact with the head up, the back arched, and the neck bowled. We want to look up and see what we hit with our eyes open. You know, and that's so big. Guys, we videotape this presentation of our proper tackling technique at the beginning of the year. In today's game of football, I suggest that you guys do it. You know, you never want to have somebody coming to you and saying, you know what, you didn't teach my kid how to tackle correctly. And then he has a concussion 20 years from now, and they come back and blame you. You know, here it is, E. Make chest-to-chest contact with the head up, the back arched, and the neck bowled with the eyes open. We want to wrap up with violence. We want to reach up for the nameplate on the back of the ball carrier's jersey and grab cloth. We want to move the feet on contact and run through the tackle until the ball carrier is on the ground. And we'll never trade it. We will not trade a solid tackle for a big hit. Okay? We want a solid tackle. I don't care if we have a big hit all game. We want a solid tackle. We don't want to turn down a hit, but we want to make sure that we're solid tacklers. So as far as what we teach, proper tackling technique, there it is. We want to settle. We want to take the extra step and step on the toes. We don't want to raise or lower. We want to keep our elbows close to the body and not wind up. Make chest-to-chest contact with our head up and our eyes open. Wrap up with violence. Move feet on contact and run through the tackle until the ball carrier is on the ground. Very simple. One of our station, Coach Bergman, who is our safeties coach, he is going to work a strip station every single day. All right. We really teach when we're working with a buddy. You know, when we'll have a running back here with the ball and a defender behind him, and there he's just going to start on a half-speed jog. This guy's going to come in. We want to strip and grab with both hands at the same time. All right? So when we come in, if they're doing it correctly, we want to either punch underneath or come over the top with the ball side hand and grab to secure the tackle with the opposite hand at the same time. A lot of people will teach to secure the tackle, then work the strip. But you see it all the time. What happens when a ball carrier gets touched? They tuck that ball in there real tight. So if they're going to tuck that ball in as soon as they feel everything, we want to drill it so that we're making simultaneous contact. Is it going to happen? You know what? Probably 9 times out of 10, no. But if we can drill it, we're going to sell our kids that that's the best way to do it, and we've seen it on film where we execute that, and it's really turned into a lot of turnovers as our kids get older, and we're playing seniors and not freshmen and sophomores. We've seen growth in the number of turnovers that we've had. Okay, so we're either going to smack down on the ball or punch underneath. A lot of that we teach is going to depend on where the elbow of the running back is. If the elbow is wide, we want to punch underneath. If it's tight, we want to smack down over the top. We want to knock the ball onto the ground, and then we want to pick the ball off the ground, scooping it up, and sprinting back to the next line. Then we'll work a second man-in strip. We'll start with an angle tackle. It'll be a good form-fit angle tackle. Second man in will rip the ball out and run the ball on a sprint to the front of the line. Now we want to do a pry and pull when we execute the second man in. So as the second man in comes in, once the tackler has the tackle secured and almost stop forward progress, we want the second man to come in, push on the elbow, or pin the elbow towards the body of the ball carrier and pull the ball out at the other tip. So we want to push in on the elbow and pry it out, or pin and pry is what we call it. So that's the second man in strip. Then in my drill, we're going to do a quarterback strip and score. This is probably the one we do the most. So we've got defensive lineman here, or whatever position starts here. We'll have some kind of a movement cue to start them out. They'll execute the cue. They'll execute a pass rush move here, and they'll finish on the dump. We want to make sure that we try to get, again, simultaneous contact, especially if it's a right-handed quarterback and we're coming in from our right-handed side. We realize we're to the blind side, and that's where we want to execute this. That's why we will work this drill almost exclusively from the defensive right. Now, we will work to the defensive left if we're playing a left-handed quarterback. But if you're coming into a quarterback's face, you've got to be much under control if you want to execute a sack. So if we're coming into the right, we execute the pass rush move. We come in. We want to make simultaneous contact, reaching over the top and clubbing down on the ball hand as we secure with our inside or downfield arm. So this arm is going to secure. This one's going to slap down or tomahawk down. And then we want to land on the dummy. Okay, most quarterbacks, moms, probably don't want to hear this, but we do want to land on top of the dummy. If we get a chance to hit the quarterback, we want to make him feel it. We don't want to injure him, but we want to make him feel it. We want to land on top of him. And then if the ball we're going to simulate a fumble. If the ball goes forward into this area, we are just going to get on it. We're going to jump on the ball and really get around it to the football, cover the tips with both hands, and get into a fetal position is what we call it. We don't want to land on top of the ball, especially the safeties and the corners and some of our outside backers when they're going into there. If they jump on top of the ball, odds are they could break a rib and be out for a couple of weeks. So we want to make sure that we're diving on the ball, getting beside it, protecting the ball, and getting in a fetal position. We don't want to land on top of the football. All right, we do not want to land on top of the football. But we don't, we treat it like a baby. You don't want to be a baby killer. That's the worst thing in American society, to be a baby killer. Get beside the thing and bring it in. Now, if the ball is fumbled behind this 5-yard line or back further, then we want to execute a good scoop and score and sprint at least 5 yards after we get the football. and we'll have a cone set up back here. We'll have a yard line that we indicate is where the finish is. So he'll come, execute that. This guy will either roll the ball nicely forward or back. We don't want to throw the ball right at them, especially when they start getting tired. They get lazy and just throw the ball right at them. We'd like the ball to be almost sitting still by the time this guy gets to it. So we'll execute that, and we'll do this with all of our players. Now, when we have the middle linebackers and the interior defensive linemen do it, we'll move them in a little bit. Some days we'll also go outside with the middle linebackers because we do have things where they're edge rushers as well. But for the most part, they're working on an inside path to the dummy. We'll also work a sideline fumble drill. And I like to do this on a day where we might be helmets only or something like that, where we have two defenders and a coach right here with the football, and we're just going to roll the ball on the sideline. Okay? This defensive guy is going to pick it up if he can. If not, he's going to make it look like he's trying to pick it up and bat the ball in this direction. Now, batting is illegal, so we tell them they've got to do a good sail job in order to not get a penalty, but we're going to go ahead and teach them, if it's going out of bounds. If it goes out of bounds, first of all, it's the offense's ball. Most kids think it's like a stinking basketball, especially here in Indiana. So we want to make sure that we're either controlling the ball in bounds or making it so that our partner can't. If he does pick it up, then he just simulates a block on the coach, and then he executes a fumble return. And we've seen it happen 5 times in 6 years. We've had a fumble near the sidelines and had that scenario. Another thing that we'll do is a toughness drill. This is something we do once or twice a year when we want to find out who's a contender and who's a pretender. But it's very, very simple. We're going to start out with three blockers here and 1 defensive guy. And hang with me. This is somewhat complicated to explain. When the whistle is blown, this player is going to attempt to get to and finish at this cone. While this player is inside this box, this player is going to block him and keep him from crossing the line that he starts on. So this guy's a blocker. He is going to attempt to keep this defender from crossing his line. He cannot attack this defender until the defender crosses into his 5-yard box. There are no rules inside this 5-yard box. There's no such thing as holding. I shouldn't say there are no rules. There are no closed fist punches, and there are no face masks allowed inside this box. If the defender is forced out of bounds, he has to come in that spot and finish. Once this defender defeats this blocker and crosses this line, now this man is going to come block him. All right? Once he defeats that blocker, so this guy defeats that blocker, comes here, defeats that blocker, gets to here. Now this guy is going to come try to block him. And once he defeats that block, he's going to finish, follow all the way through. Then what we do is once that guy blocks, he goes to the end of the line. Once he blocks, he goes up. Once he blocks, he goes up, and then he becomes the blocker back here. But it really lets you identify who your tough guys are, who your good special teams guys can be, and who's just a contender and not a pretender. We'll also work draw and screen drills. We'll set the dummy back a little bit further. We'll work an edge rush move, and then we will run to the running back. So the running back will wait until he hears that hit, and then he will run the ball through to the cones or saucers, so nobody's turning an ankle or anything. What we want an edge rusher to understand, especially our defensive linemen, is that when you've got a skinny guy running the ball forward that cannot see you, that is a prime opportunity to create a turnover from behind. So, and we're teaching when those other drills that we're doing become something that's a time when you're going to use it. So when we see that, we want to retrace and get in pursuit to the running back, whether it's a draw in this scenario or a screen. So we'll have a coach stand here. He'll work his move for this. This is the screen drill. Coach will stand here, work a move, and then if he sees the coach back up, he's going to turn his and run to. He's going to just freeze. He's not going to turn and run. I'm sorry. He's going to freeze and then react to the coach and do the same thing. You know, as the coach throws the ball to the running back, he's going to get in pursuit. So those are two things that we teach. Number one, you know, a running back on a screen running away from you that cannot see you is a skinny guy that cannot see you. Take advantage of it and create a strip. Number two, on a draw, same scenario. We'll also put in one of the stations that I'll run. We've got a ball carrier right here standing right next to the dummy with the coach here. And the coach is going to simulate the week's offensive tackle blocking schemes. It could be a slide protection. All right, it could be a big-on-big protection. It could be a runaway or cutback. But we are going to simulate what they do. Each time, this ball carrier will just stand here, and he'll react to what the coach is doing. So if the coach just comes back, he's going to simulate big-on-big. He's going to put a move on, execute the strip, and then he'll throw the ball roll or throw the ball out from there, be it here or here. You know, cover zone, pickup zone. All right? If the coach zones away, all right, then we want the blitzer to sit and get square, keep his shoulders square, and shuffle down the line of scrimmage, because what we're going to have this back do if the coach zones in is we're going to have him cut back. And we want to fit that up correctly. All right? Corners, safeties, middle linebackers, outside linebackers, defensive end are all edge rushers in our scheme. So we want to use this time during this tackle and turnover drill to really teach those skill sets. We think they're really important, but as you guys know, as position coaches, we have a million different things that we want to teach and that we want to get to. So this is a way to lessen that. Just make it part of your circuit. Angle tackle station, we just have a 5-yard diamond. You know, we want to use our proper tackling technique. The key here is number 5. We want to make contact with the near foot in the ground. If the ball carrier is coming this way, us as a defensive lineman, we're coming this way, we want to make sure that we have this near foot in the ground as this ball carrier comes. Now, why is that? So that we've got something to take that next step with after contact. If we make contact with this foot in the ground and the fight is that way, all we've got really is part of our outside shoulder and unfortunately our head to make the tackle with and to keep leverage, and that's where you get a lot of ball carriers that fall forward. So in this drill, we want to focus on getting the near foot in the ground and performing a good form tackle. I'm going to repeat that just to make sure you guys understand what I mean. You know, as we come, we want to make contact with that near foot in the ground so we can step from here to here with the second foot and push the ball carrier back. You know, we're not going to finish until we're back 5 yards here, or 2.5 to 3 yards here. Inside and in front, very simple drill on a go call by coach. The ball carrier is going to run to a side. The defender to the side the ball carrier will work to keep the ball inside and in front of him until making contact with his inside shoulder. And the backside defender, all right, is going to keep leverage and in cutback position. So as he hits there, then he'll work there. Then he'll give ground a little bit and come back this way. He'll work the leverage. He'll work the cutback. Now, we'll also throw a third person in here and start the ball head up so that we've got a fold player that's there for he's watching for that counter, cutback, reverse, and then bring it back the other way. And then, you know, he still becomes your cutback. He's your force player. He then would be your cutback if the ball is going this way with the extra player, and then he would be your fold. So that's a very good drill. Has a lot of merit for open field, outside zone, and special teams play in the kicking game. We'll also do an open field tackling drill. One of the great drills that we will do, we'll have the offensive player with a dummy in his hand, and they will just work together. When the tackler gets about 5 yards away, we want to come to balance, keeping our feet moving, and still continuing towards the ball. But at 5 yards away is where we want to start to come to balance and get ready to go either direction. We want to focus on the belly button of the ball carrier. But what we'll do, and that'll be obviously a spot on the pad that we have here. So as they close then, this ball carrier will either hold the hand shield out to the right or hold the hand shield out to the left, and we want to make a good form-fit tackle on it. So he's just carrying a hand shield, so he just holds it out to the right, form-fit, holds it out to the left, form-fit. Then we will go ahead and do it without the hand shield and give the guy one cut. Okay, so we'll sprint towards the ball carrier with eyes on his belt buckle. When tackler's 5 yards away, ball carrier goes right or left at a 45-degree angle. Tackler must come to balance, keeping his feet moving, and take a lateral step. One of the keys there is we do not want to cross over at any time. When we cross over, that's when bad things happen. We want to stay low. We want to stay on that same level. We don't want to raise. We don't want to lower. And we want to step on his toes before striking and shoot the hands up, like we talked about earlier, to the back of the breastplate. And we want to grab cloth. This is Coach Scott, one of his axioms with angry hands and accelerate feet through the finish. Then we're going to have a cut station where we work on defeating a cut block. We want to attack the cut block with both hands. We want to punch the front and back of the near shoulder pad with the free side hand and the front and back of the helmet at 45-degree angle. Too many times when guys try to defeat a cut, they push straight down. Well, if you push straight down, they're probably going to get into your feet. So we want to punch at a 45-degree angle whenever we're defeating a cut. We want to get our eyes up and find our prey, and then we want to perform a good angle tackle. Finish by pushing the ball carrier back perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. Those are a few of the drills that we do. Definitely not all the drills that we do, but with time permitting and stuff, figured those were the best ones to get to. We're going to go ahead and go back to the film now. So if you want to bring up my video channel again, you'll see where it says tackle and turnover circuit. We'll go ahead and start that one up. And I'll talk it through. So right here on this first clip, well, I'll give you a chance to get to there. But on this first clip and the first drill, and what I'll do, guys, is I'll just pause it in between each drill so everybody can kind of catch up. So on this first drill, we're just putting a move on the dummy. This is our defensive ends. And then we're going to work on making simultaneous contact. Does a pretty good job there. And as you can see, this guy is throwing the ball backwards or forwards. Okay, so that's in the recovery area. I want to get right next to it. All right. So there, simultaneous contact. That's pretty good. I want to bend at the knees, not at the waist. I'm going to pause and go to the cut ball tackle next. So I'll give guys a chance to get there. All right, again, we want to punch out at a 45. That was a good job at a 45, although his get off was not great. 45, then finish. This is what Coach Land's working on coming across. Our head coach likes to jump in and attack the turnover circuit every once in a while. Even though he's an offensive guru, he likes to throw the ball around. Okay, again, get a little sloppy here, but you can see what we're working on. Again, open field tackle. This is live. Just working on sprinting and then settling. Again, we're at the open field tackle drill at about 1 minute. Okay, so they're actually this guy, in this case, Coach Scott, has him standing still. So he's going to come up to 5 yards and come to balance. Let's see if he changes his level. Nope, that's pretty good. Want to make sure that they're not crossing over. Want to make sure they're grabbing cloth with angry hands. On that last one, you can see he kind of wound up. We don't want to wind up because that's when the head goes down. Pretty good level there, but a little bit of a crossover. A little bit of a crossover there. Okay, now we're working on angle tackle. We just got them 5 yards apart. We're just working on a good angle tackle. And we want to throw it up. We want to make contact with the near foot first. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one right there. Number 3, Tyson Kazi. Very good there. We don't want to throw our arms back. We don't want to wind up. That's going to take our head down. Okay, that last guy kind of pulled his arms back a little bit. We also put our kickers and our punters and our holders in our tackling and turnover circuit. We want to make sure that they're safe. Again, we're back here. I've got the defensive lineman at that station. We want to put the dummy where the drop spot's going to be for the quarterback. We go as rapid fire as we can, working on simultaneous contact on that bag. Or he didn't quite come high enough. Again, we don't want him to toss the ball out like that. As we all know, some are smarter than others. So here we've got this punch or strip drill. Looks like they're working on punching. He should have secured the tackle on the other side at the same time. We want to sprint it back to the line. Now we've got our inside and in front drill. Okay, so they're here. Inside and in front. He's there for cutback. Now he's there for cutback. There we go. Okay, I kind of lost it at the last second there. We're just going to bounce them back and forth to get in cutback position and in a force position. There you go. Force, cutback, force, cutback. Force cutback guy. Don't want to let them get outside. Don't ever want to let them get outside. I want to keep them inside and in front of you. That's why we call it the inside and the in front drill. Watch it again. Boom. Pretty good, except we'd like him to attack a little bit more and stay balanced. Stay balanced. Don't change level with your feet. This is a defensive line, so not pretty. So now we're working on our edge rush drill. Pause so you guys can get to the edge rush drill. Still got a little choppy there. So now he is going to read him. These are outside linebackers. This guy is going to read the coach. He's going to read the coach. So is him. So is he, excuse me. If he zones away, he's going to sit and squat and read the quarterback because he's a C-gap defender. There he's there for the cutback. Like him to stay on the line of scrimmage and shuffle down and be under control. So there's a pass. We're going to simulate big on big, and it's just like normal. Okay, slide protection, reading the offensive line. Down block, that's good. That's good. Number 24, when you see him on the film, and number 5, 2 examples of great job. Those guys are older kids. Juniors last year are going to be seniors. Okay, that's definitely a run. Number 6 does a good job of staying square to the line of scrimmage. Sees a hi-hat on a pass set. We're going to get it. So we're reading that offensive lineman. When he's not sure, we tell him just to shuffle and sit and wait. See number 9, shuffle and sit and wait? That's a freshman. There, kid's an upperclassman. Did a good job. Again, working on simultaneous contact when we hit the back. Great job of finishing by 20, you'll see. Okay, not a bad job by 17 of sitting down and playing the cutback. But we're working on the things that we're going to see in a game, things that are going to happen in the game.